The following is a press conference with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on July 28, 1975, in Dallas, Texas.
Swami, why are you here? Srila? He asks, why are you here?
Why?
Why are you here?
This is my home. I have got children, grandchildren, so I have come to see them.
Any comment about the lawsuit that the sect here is involved in with regard to whether they should be allowed to sell literature and collect donations?
This is good literature. It should be encouraged. People will become sane, understand what is his constitutional position. Otherwise, in your country, the other day I saw in the Times paper, they are very much perturbed of crime. What to do, they are thinking. So if this literature is distributed and people read it carefully, there will be no more crime. They will be all saner to understand, self-realized souls. At the present moment, people are misguided, accepting the bodily concept of life.
The reporters don't seem to have many questions. If you like, you can speak.
Oh yeah. Who is she'll speak?
If you like, you can speak. Go.
You want me to speak? I can
Yes.
speak. Shall I speak? Yesterday in San Diego, one press representative met me, so I told that America is advanced in material civilization, all comforts of bodily concept of life, but why the American young men are becoming hippies and crazy. Yesterday I saw some of the girls came almost naked. So, why they are dissatisfied? In spite of so much material advancement, they have got enough food, enough shelter, enough clothing, enough cars and everything. There is no scarcity. Why they are disappointed? Can you answer why they are disappointed? It means they require spiritual fulfillment of desire. That is the nature. When in the primitive stage of life, a man is concerned about the bodily comforts, and when one is advanced or satisfied, not satisfied, advanced in our bodily concept of life, the next question is about spiritual life. So, America is in that point, especially. So unless you fulfill their spiritual needs, they will remain in such disturbing condition. So I compared it just like there are many zeros, 1 0, 2 0, 3 0, or hundreds and millions of zero. All these zeros together, the value is zero. But if there is 1, then 1 and 0, it makes 10. So 10 times of 1 value increases. Another 0, it is 100. Another 0, it is 1,000. Similarly, this material advancement of America, if it is added with God consciousness, then the value will increase. Otherwise, it will remain 0. You may advance materially as far as possible, but if you don't take God consciousness or Krishna consciousness, then the value of all this material advancement is equal to 0. Nobody will be satisfied. So, therefore this Krishna consciousness movement should be taken very seriously. It is the finishing touch of American advancement of material comforts. Then people will be very happy, and America is already leader of the world. They will be first class leader, the world will be benefited, and you will be benefited, and my endeavor will be also successful. Don't keep yourself in 0, take the 1, then it will be very nice. Just like you can understand very easily, this life, very important man, but if there is no spirit soul, it is 0. There is no value. However an important man may be, when the spirit soul is out of the body, it is a lump of matter, it has no value. Anything you take, this machine, that machine, any machine, if somebody, some spiritual being, some living being is not tackling it, what is the value? No value. Therefore, everywhere the spiritual consciousness must be there, otherwise it is 0.
Would you comment on the political situation in India now? What do you think about Mrs. Gandhi's?
Well, we are not very much concerned with political situation, but our proposition is either political, social, economical, or philosophical, anything. Without Krishna, it is all 0. So far Mrs. Gandhi is concerned, she is inclined to some spiritual understanding. So actually, if she becomes very advanced spiritually, then this emergency situation will improve. Otherwise, as it is the public opinion against democracy. The democracy is not very much beneficial anywhere and everywhere. In your country also, you voted Mr. Nixon, democracy, but you are not satisfied with him. That means democracy, ordinary man, they select somebody and again they try to bring him down. Why? When you are selected, it means it was a mistake. So according to Vedic civilization, there was no such thing as democracy. It was monarchy. But the monarchy means the king was very highly spiritually advanced. The king was called Rajarsi, means king at the same time saintly person. We have got another example in our country, Gandhi. When he was political leader, he was practically dictator. But because he was a man of very high moral character, people took him, accepted him as the dictator. So, dictatorship is good, provided the dictator is highly qualified spiritually. That is the Vedic verdict. The battle of Kurukshetra was there because Lord Krishna wanted Rajarsi, Yudhishthira should be on the head. So, the king is supposed to be the representative of God, so he must be a godly person, then it will be successful.
The following is a conversation between His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and a newspaper reporter, recorded March 25th, 1976, in New Delhi, India.
What would you regard to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita is mean that there is God. And we are part and parcel of God. God is great and we are very teeny, small, fragmental portion of God. In quality, we and God are the same. Just like a drop of ocean water is qualitatively the same as the big ocean. Qualitatively is the same. A drop of ocean water is salty. And the whole ocean is also salty. The salt taste is there. But the drop is never equal to the ocean. This is the difference. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetana. This is Vedic. That he is also a living entity as we are. So we, many, plural number. We means living entity. We are many and he is one. But he is also living entity. Now what is the difference? The difference is that he maintains the plural number, living entities.
He maintains the
Plural number, plural. Living entities. And the plural number living entities are maintained by him.
In the past, I should start to say, this is the first press conference you are holding in Delhi, isn't it?
You can come.
Would you kindly let him finish this answer?
Okay. Yeah, it is.
Because it says that plural number entities are being maintained by him.
Yes.
While
Just like father, and he has got many children. So both of them are living entities. But the father maintains the children, and the children are maintained by God. One is maintaining, and others are being maintained. That means dependent. We are dependent on God, on Krishna.
But aren't we impure and he is pure?
No, both of them.
But then why do we commit sins? God doesn't.
That is, we are at the present moment in impure condition. That is material. Therefore, the human form of life is a chance to be free from the impurity.
But say, if we are drop of the same ocean, why should we be impure at all?
No, we are pure, constitutionally.
Then from where does this impurity come?
Yes, that is just like you are healthy, but where from the disease comes? You are not diseased now, but sometimes disease comes. Where from it comes? So, at the present moment, we are in disease condition. This has to be cured. Otherwise, we are pure as God.
Then what is the way to purity?
Yes, that is Bhagavad Gita.
You mean the mere recital of Bhagavad Gita?
Not recital, to understand and to act.
Prescription.
Yes.
That is the prescription.
The whole thing is described in the
Which
Bhagavad Gita.
particular teachings do you find so uplifting and ennobling for a man?
You have read Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, I have. Not so thoroughly, but I have in parts.
What is that question? Which part?
Which particular teachings you think can purify a man? Because you said the salvation lies in following the teachings of Gita.
You have to revive your consciousness that you are part and parcel of God. And the part and parcel of God means to serve God. Just like this finger is part and parcel of my body. But it is meant for serving my body. I ask the finger, come here, it is serving. Come here, it is serving. Pick up the food, give it to me, it gives it. This is business of the finger. If the finger cannot carry out my order, then it is disease. And if it immediately carries out order, then it is healthy. Similarly, we being part and parcel of God, we must be ready to give service immediately. Then it is healthy condition. And if you do not, then it is Maya. We are serving. We are serving. Everyone is serving because our constitution is to serve. Big leaders, they are also serving. Anyone you can see, the sun is serving exactly in the time it is rising by the order of God. Exactly in time it is setting. Everyone is serving. Ekola Ishwar Krishna Arsa Bhrikta. Only master is God. And everyone is servant. But the disease condition is that when we do not serve God, we serve something else, Maya, and that is disease.
That is?
Disease condition. Impure condition. At the present moment, we have discovered so many services. National service, communal service, this service, that service. But nobody is recommending service of God. This is the disease condition. Therefore we are suffering.
So what do you really mean by arousing the Krishna consciousness?
That
what
means
does it
we have
really
to
entail?
serve Krishna. We are serving now non-Krishna. Nothing is non-Krishna. Something Maya. Just like dreaming. Dreaming is without activity. That is false activity.
Excuse me, may I ask one question? You said Maya or disease. Maya is disease or Maya or many other ailments by which the
Maya
human is a disease condition or many other ailments under which the human beings are affected.
Yes.
Are these bad conditions or ailments not part and parcel of God?
Yes. But you are suffering, you should admit. Just like prison department is part and parcel of the government, but who is in the prison is suffering.
That's a very good answer. That's a wonderful answer.
Your Divine Grace, would your message be exactly the same for, say, a starving man in India and a Westerner who's got everything that a person needs?
That not only in India, everywhere. You will starve because you are rebellion to God. You must starve. That is a punishment. Just like anyone who is a criminal, he must be punished. That is the law of nature.
So by that, I suppose one would presume that people in India have been most rebellious to God. Because of...
When you speak of God, don't say in India, America.
No, because the number of starving men here is much larger.
You are starving on account of your economic condition being bad, or I cannot say anything. But they are also starving. You are poor by force, and they sometimes accept poverty voluntarily, just like the hippies. They have enough money, they are coming from very rich father and grandfather, but they lie down on the street. And the police comes and kicks them. Hey, get up, get up. Why? Why they have accepted it? So these kind of varieties you find everywhere. A rich man, middle class man and poverty-stricken man. Don't think that it is in India. I am traveling all over the world.
Swamiji, what do you suggest to your disciples to arouse what you call Hare Krishna consciousness or God
Yes,
consciousness?
Hare Krishna consciousness is the purificatory process. If you chant Hare Krishna, God is so kind. In this age, it is meant for every age, especially this age when you are so much fallen and so much suffering, and neither we are able to act very piously. Therefore, this Hare Krishna mantra, if you chant, you gradually become purified. Then you come to your own consciousness.
So how would you define sin? What is impurity, so to say?
You cannot understand impurity.
I mean, should there be any clear-cut
just
definition?
like when you are diseased, the doctor gives you some vaccine and injection to cure you, to make you purified. Is it not?
No, could there be any clear-cut criterion, for example, to say whether I have committed sin or I have not committed sin? What is sin?
That we living entity, being part and parcel, we are as good as God. But when we are under the control of the material nature, that is our disease condition. Same example. Just like you as a good citizen, you are as good as Indira Gandhi. You are Indian, you have got all the rights. But if you become criminal, you put into the prison. So we are in the condition state means no freedom. It is not clear?
No, so I just wanted you to tell me some yardstick from which one could
But
find out as to
because
what
we
is
are
what is not.
suffering, that is the sign of impurity.
Pardon?
Because we are suffering. You admit that you are suffering. Do you know this?
Suffering means there is some impurity.
Are you not suffering?
Yes, everybody.
That is disease. That's why disease comes. When you have got fever, you are suffering. That is disease coming. So long you are suffering, you must be aware of the fact that was in disease condition. Because you are part and parcel, there is no question of suffering.
But suffering may not necessarily be because of sin, it might be because of something else, you know.
It might be something that is your sinful activity. That something is some sinful activity.
Now a poor man suffers of hunger, this is not sin if he doesn't get
yes.
proper food or anything.
But how can we help? You cannot help. Just like a prisoner in the suffering, in the prisoner, you cannot help.
I may suffer because I have cancer, for example. But cancer is not a sin, you know.
Yes,
it is sin.
everything is sin. Disease means sin. Unless you commit sinful life, there is no question of suffering.
I thought sin has some relation with ethics.
Sometimes the suffering is self-brought and sometimes the suffering is brought without self. By nature.
No, that is wrong. Every suffering is brought by you, yourself. Just like if you are punished by the High Court judge to be hanged, you don't make the High Court judge is the cause of your hanging. You made a situation, the High Court judge has given you the judgment that you must be hanged.
Could you tell us something about the Vedic city which is being constructed in Mayapuri? I mean, what
Vedic, you want to know something about the Vedic city which is being constructed in Mayapur?
Yes. Not Vedic city, Vedic planetarium. How you got this information?
He had come to our temple earlier. He's already published one article in yesterday's paper.
Which paper?
Morning article.
You must try to understand that we are suffering on account of our sinful activity.
So I am asking what is sinful activity?
You do not know.
I don't know.
If you go
Sometimes
on
it
the
becomes very
street,
difficult to distinguish.
if you go on the street and there is tip to the left, as soon as you go to the right, you suffer. Is it not? Immediately go to the court. Is it not suffering? No, just try to understand.
No, sir, I just wanted to ask
No,
you.
I want that. It's just try to understand this common sense. That as soon as you go to the street, the indication is that you must keep your card on the left side. And as soon as you go to the right side, you become a criminal immediately. You can say, what is wrong? The right side or wrong side, I'm trying my card. But it is criminal. You know or not know. Ignorance of law is no excuse. So there similarly, there is law of God. See, as soon as you violate, you must. This is.
What is that law of God? What is it?
That means you are so ignorant. You are so ignorant. The law of God, God is some, personally speaking, this is the law. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja. This is the law. God is speaking personally, and you do not know. And you are advertising, very expert in reading Bhagavad Gita, and you do not know the law. This is going on. Big scholars, big monkey, they are reading Bhagavad Gita 300 times daily, but do not know what is it. This is it. In Bengali, there is a saying, big monkey, big belly, Ceylon jumping melancholy. You know, the monkey, big monkey, Hanumanji, he jumped over. So ask any other monkey, can you jump? Melancholy. Similarly, big scholars of Bhagavad Gita, and do not know what is the law of God. This is going on. Big commentary, big book. But the law, he does not know.
Your Divine Grace, this is actually not very relevant to the press conference, but have you ever met people like the Sai Baba or Bal Yogeshwar or the Maharaj?
This is nonsense. What shall I mean? What is the business? Who rascals may meet there? Why shall I meet? What can I get from them? What is their special value? Tell me, why shall I meet? What is the business I have got to meet him? You are suggesting?
No, I mean,
Why shall I meet? Why you expect like that I shall meet?
No.
He just casually wanted to know if you have ever met them.
Why
they are also
why is he asking?
Renowned
What
sages of
business
India.
I have got to meet with them? What
No,
shall I
not
get
you,
from that?
just to discuss metaphysics.
If I am taking lesson from Krishna, why shall I take lesson from such bogus things?
No, they have also been recognized as exponents of Hindu thought and
who
learning.
recognized? After all, who recognized?
No, they too have a massive following in the West.
That is the defect of the modern civilization. The vote, just like in a big democratic country like America, they voted Nixon to become president, and when they found that this man is a bogus, they again dragged him down. So this is going on. We vote somebody to the topmost position and we see that he is a rascal. So therefore, we do not advise. We say, just take lesson from Krishna, who is recognized by everyone. That is our Krishna consciousness. We don't say, go to a bogus man and take instruction. We don't say.
May I interrupt you? What Swamiji has described in all the books, as it exists, no further contribution, no amendment, no interpretation. He has described all what has been written in Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita in its truest form. So no imitation, no representation, no interpretation. Swamiji has described exactly as it happened.
And that is being appreciated all over the world.
All over the world, that is being appreciated.
Swamiji, could you please throw light on your 4-point regulation which you suggest to your disciples?
Yes. That is pious life. No illicit sex. No meat eating. No intoxication. No gambling.
No?
Gambling. These are the 4 pillars of sinful life. So if you want to know God, you must be free from sinful life. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Jesam antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dannamaha nirmukta bhajanti man dirabdata. If you want to be God conscious, then you must be free from all sinful activities. God is pure. If you want to approach God, then you must be pure. If you remain impure, you cannot understand God.
Swamiji, do you think that there are some people in this country, in thousands or maybe tens of thousands, who are getting spiritual solace from, say, people like Sai Baba or any of these other people who've interpreted the Vedas or who have followers all over the country? Do you think these followers are getting some amount of spiritual solace?
No. First of all, do you know what Sai Baba is preaching? Do you know?
No.
Then how you are asking on behalf of Sai Baba?
No, just like that. I'm just I'm very far removed from...
Now, why you are interested? You twice have said Sai Baba.
No, anybody, because he is among the better known people. I have nothing to do with...
better known.
It could be someone like, say, the Bal Yogeshwar, who also got some kind of following there.
That is point our India's Vedic culture. Everyone has invented some ways, and they are misled the general people. That is the misfortune of modern India. The standard instruction is there in the Bhagavad Gita. They do not care to know it. They want to know about the greatness of Bal Yogi, Sai Baba, this Baba. That is their misfortune. They give us the real instruction. Bhagavad Gita, which is accepted by the great Acharyas, Ramanujarya, Madhvacharya, Shankaracharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all over the world. They are not interested to know Bhagavad Gita. They are interested to know about Shiva. Just see this point.
But what would you attribute this to? What would you attribute this to? What is the cause of this?
Cause of this, one simple cause is that become unfortunate. They give up the real thing and they accept the imitation. So that is their misfortune. If there are two shops, everyone knows here is real gold and here is imitation gold. If he goes to purchase imitation gold, that is his misfortune.
What is it in your movement which has appealed to the Western world? I believe you have a sizable following.
We are supplying real gold. We are giving real gold.
Real gold.
We are not supplying imitation gold. That is it. Credit. If you supply imitation thing, it may go for some time, but it will not endure. So many Swamis and Yogis, and they go there. But these American boys, they don't care for it.
No, but even Mahesh Yogi has a considerable following in America and a lot of Western countries.
Amongst housewives.
Huh?
No. Now it is going down, and the followers we have, they will not follow any regular principles, they will not surrender. Simply, they have no actual disciples who are following principles.
Now, are we going to compare because of the larger following? We compare the realities and the unrealities.
I didn't venture to compare Swamiji's teachings with that of Mahesh Yogi, but
in America,
How many Mahesh Yogi has brought disciples like this? Practical, come, practical come. Have you seen in India Mahesh Yogi?
Well, whenever he comes to Delhi, he brings 2-3 jumbo jets full of disciples.
I have them. Thousands of them are watching here on my idea. Just see their character and behavior.
may I say something? A magician can create many charishmas, but God also creates charishmas. Whom will you compare? The magician charisma or the God's charisma? This is the difference. A magician can also sometimes impress upon people that he has godly powers. But are these the real godly powers? As against real godly powers. This is the difference. I have been at least 30 times to America, talked to a lot of people.
Yes.
They say if you want to go really for attainment of your soul, you go to ISKCON. If you want to have...
And if you want to attain your bodily strength,
yes, actually, one of his secretaries, he asked that I want real knowledge of God. He said, then you go to ISKCON.
And if you want blissful, pleasureful things, go to either Mahesh Yogi or go to Bal Yogi. This is what has been. This is what has been impressed upon by knowledgeable people in America. And at least I can say with authority that I have talked with a lot of people.
They say that you can chant some mantra and go on with your sinful life. But the practical result is that people's lives remain the same. They may simply divert themselves from their suffering temporarily.
But in reality, their condition of life is the same. They're still in a miserable condition of life. Because Prabhupada is actually lifting us out of the well of misery to the atmosphere of blissfulness.
Marjorie advertises in the paper, PM, you don't require any religion, don't require to follow any principles, so on, so on.
Yeah.
But I have got so many strictures, still they do not go to him, they come to me. He has no stricture.
Yes.
But I have got so many strictures. It is the report of the draft department that why the young men come to Krishna consciousness movement, what is the facility? So they studied, so they reported there is no facility, simply rigidity, still they go there.
Do you have any plans of propagating your movement in India? Because you have been for too long working in the West and
India, yes.
I believe India is a guidance.
India is so misguided that it will take some time to them, because whatever, even if you speak to India, what I can speak? I speak Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita was already there, is still already there.
Yeah.
And India's misfortune is they are so neglectful, they don't take care of Bhagavad Gita. They will bring, why not Sai Baba, why not this Baba, why not that Baba?
No, I wanted
They
to
have
ask.
become over-intelligent. Not simple intelligent, but over-intelligent. That is, they are not over-intelligent. That is the facility for them. We are treating Krishna is the Supreme God. That is in the Shastra, in the Vedas, and everywhere. But you won't believe. You will say, why Krishna is Supreme God? Another is, here is God, here is God. Hundreds and thousands of gods will be. That is it.
No, do you plan to propagate your message in India?
Yes, certainly I plan. But the difficulty is that who is going to accept the philosophy is already there. Bhagavad Gita is already.
No, but
who is caring to take it? Even if I speak, I shall speak. Read Bhagavad Gita. But who will take it? That is the division, competition.
What probably is asking is, do we have any positive plans?
Some movement in India.
Yes,
As probably you are aware that you see
we have already planned.
that has been in Bombay. There's a very big temple where there's a center.
My point is
Vrindavan is
that what I am speaking, it is not unknown to India. But they are so misfortunate that they don't take it. That is it. They're so unfortunate they have become that they don't take it. What shall I speak in India? The same thing.
So that is all the more reason why your work
we
is
are
needed.
doing as far as we have got center. The people are so over-intelligent, they don't take it. What Hare Krishna we have heard. We have seen Bhagavad Gita. That is. If you become neglectful, that is the greatest offense. So India is offender. It is India's philosophy, what I am preaching others. India doesn't require to be known, to be aware. But they won't take it. They have become so unfortunate. That is it. If you don't take it, then how will you become rich? Suppose if I give you, take this $1,000. But if you don't take it, what benefit will you get? India's position is like that.
Would you be opening study schools in India on Gurukul pattern? On the Gurukul pattern?
Try. But the difficulty in India is that they are very, very neglectful. There is no question of government. Government is people's man. So, if we are ourselves fools and rascals, the government will also be a set of fools and rascals. If you are intelligent, the government is intelligent. Because now it is democracy. You select some man. So don't blame government. You are government. If you are fools, the governments are fools. If you are intelligent, the government is intelligent. It is up to you to change. Then everything is all right.
Swamiji, excuse me, is there any special significance of keeping this bead hidden?
Just to follow Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita says, Manmana bhavamad bhakta. Always think of me. So we are thinking Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
No, I mean you are keeping it wrapped in a piece of cloth.
That bead.
Why?
The bead is pure. So just to keep it aloof from the dust and nothing. We keep this drinking water covered. Why? This is common.
It's just to keep it pure.
Yes. Pure it is. But still, it is our duty not to treat originality.
Are your disciples supposed to chant the mantra all the time?
All my disciples fine.
Are they supposed to chant the mantra throughout the day?
Oh, yes.
All and also to chant the mantra at the same time?
That requires practice. That requires practice. Just like the woman is cooking and he is also talking. It does not mean the cooking is going bad. It is practice.
Swamiji, does this chanting of mantra bring purity or following of your 4 instructions or regulations which he has told? Or both?
It purifies the heart. Yes, the core of the heart. Chetadatmanam arjanam. This is the effect of chanting, because everything we are doing on account of dirty heart. So everything is dirty. So if you purify your heart, then everything becomes clear.
How long does it take to purify your heart?
Just like if the dirty things are very fixed up, it takes little more time. Otherwise, it takes little time.
I believe you will be having certain industries for export also in Mayapuri. May I know if they would be manned by disciples, and if so, do you think that they would be in a much better position to look after these big goshalas and other things than, say, other people would do?
If you follow Bhagavad Gita, then everything will be followed very nicely. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Kisi Goraksha Manijam, and Goraksha. This is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you follow Bhagavad Gita, then naturally Goraksha will be there. And if you read Bhagavad Gita for some political reason, then slaughterhouse, go on. Instead of Goraksha, go killing. This is going on. Every politician is reading Bhagavad Gita. But Goraksha, instead of Goraksha, go Hatya. This is. No Goraksha, but go Hatya. This is it. Who cares for Krishna? This is the misfortune of India. Krishna spoke in India, in Kurukshetra. Krishna appeared in India, but Indian people are neglecting. Therefore I say it is a misfortune. It is your own thing, and you are neglecting.
So you want to encourage that?
Yes, I want that Bhagavad Gita was spoken in India. Every Indian should take Bhagavad Gita very serious. Then India's fortune will change. But they have rejected Bhagavad Gita and they are making their own imagination as the goal of life. So how they will be happy? If you have your father's property, you squander it, and then you beg from others, give me some money. How much unfortunate you are. Your father's property, you squander it. Then you become a beggar, and beg from others, give me some money. So how much unfortunate you are, just imagine.
When you visited the Soviet Union, Swamiji, did you find the atmosphere worse than it is in Western countries, say, or the people in any way?
The people are very good, but the leaders are bad.
Did you meet any of them? No.
Yes, I talked with one of the best leaders, Professor Kotovsky. He is the professor of Indology. I have talked with him. I have studied. The people in general are very good.
But did you hold any meetings or anything?
Yes.
Were they receptive to what you...
Yes, I was invited by Professor Kotovsky. On my way to Europe, I stayed there. So I have studied the people. They are very good. As our Indian people, innocent masters, they are also like that. But they are being sophisticated by the new philosophy, communism, artificial things. But they are not happy. They are being forced to accept philosophy. People have seen from their face, they look unhappy. Everything depends on government. You have to accept, you cannot select your food. Whatever nonsense things the government will supply us. Even if you don't like it. And for us, it was a great difficulty. We could not get rice, could not get flour, neither fruit. Only milk is available and flesh as much as it is. So on the whole, it was artificial and people are not happy.
Swamiji, why did you prohibit this tea or coffee also for your
Because it is sinful.
It is sinful?
Yes. Why should we eat meat?
What about onions and onions?
Yes, onions is also very agitating.
So why are they sinful?
Huh?
Why are they sinful?
Why
is it a sin to take tea or coffee?
Because in this intoxication, if you are habituated to take tea, as soon as in your time you don't take tea, you become mad.
You mean this dependence is bad or this tea itself is bad?
If your mind is agitated for something, then you become dependent on that thing. That is the position. Those who are taking tea, they have become so much dependent.
But if I start taking milk, I will be equally dependent on milk.
No. Milk is not. Milk, you take little milk once, that is sufficient.
So what he says that if he starts taking milk regularly, he will become dependent, he will become enslaved.
That you are dependent, must eat something. But you must eat something which is favorable for you. Eatable, everything is eatable. The stool is also eatable. That doesn't mean you human beings go to eat stool. That is meant for the pigs, hogs. You are not hogs and pigs, but if you try to become pigs and hogs, then you can become. No discrimination of food, means pigs and hogs. And God will give chance to become a hog next life.
So most of your disciples have
But
their
you
heads
admit
shaved.
this, that after this life you have to accept another body. Do you accept this? Huh?
I do, sir.
Then that body offered to you, is it in your hand? Suppose the next life you are offered a pig's body. Can you say, no, I don't want? That is the statement of Bhagavad Gita. Tatha dehantara prapti dhira sattva namaya.
But how to give up, sir?
Huh?
How to give up?
What is give up?
How to give up this tea and coffee to which you have so much habituity?
That is that given.
Hare Krishna movement.
That's his example. How they ask them.
If you chant Hare Krishna, then you lose your hankering for everything else.
Really?
Yeah. The higher taste.
That is the taste of Hare Krishna movement. Bhakti parishanu bhava virakti annatra sya. As soon as you advance in devotion, you become detestful to your material enjoyment.
May I know from which class of society people generally come to you in the States?
From which class of society in the United States do most of your disciples come from?
You can ask them. I do not know.
Many educated people, as well as people from all different classes.
And
all
in
racial
America, who is
backgrounds.
uneducated?
Yes, all coming from very nice families, majority education. Many of them coming from very wealthy families.
Now, if you take good family means wealthy family, then in America there is no poor family. There is no question of poverty. So, how to distinguish that he is coming from good family, he is coming from bad? Poverty is unknown to them. Nobody is uneducated. Then how to distinguish who is bad and who is good? Everyone is good. Unless he voluntarily becomes bad, hippie. Otherwise everyone is coming from very good family, rich family, educated family.
Do you have a large number of American Negroes in your movement, Swamiji?
Not large number, but there are.
Is there any reason why that is so?
That is, there is reason. They are not very much cultured.
They have women followers also in the movement.
Yes. America, men and women have got equal rights.
So whom do you find more responsive to your movement, women or men?
Everyone. They are very fortunate. And I am very much indebted to them because they have helped me. Yes.
Helped in what sense?
Cooperation. Without their cooperation, now this book I am writing, surely. But they are pushing on. Even facing great danger, they are helping me in my translating work, in typing, in composing, in printing. Have you got that feel? How they are doing?
You got the film? That book film? I don't have the projector on that suitcase.
Now, if we invite them to see how they are helping efficiently with latest machine, therefore it has been possible. Otherwise, while in India, with great hardship, I could publish 3 books only.
They're very beautifully printed.
Where does the money come from to print such lavish editions of your books?
We are selling books.
No, but initially you do require some money to print in such a lavish manner.
I took some books from here. They are not so nicely printed. But still, I sold them. Then gradually increased. They paid the money and then they made contribution. One of my students, he first Jayanand, he first paid me, he first paid me $5,000. Then Brahmananda paid me $5,000. In this way, gradually, money came.
Swamiji, you write originally in English, or these books are being translated from some other language into English for you?
No, translated, but I give my purport. That is, they like very much. Present the purport in such a way they can understand. The original verse is there, but they are explained by me.
Give some critical comments and all that. Explanation.
That is like it.
Does that mean, Swamiji, that yours is a cultural and educational movement rather than a personal cult?
A cultural and educational movement rather than personal cult?
Yes, it is cultural movement. Educational. It is not so-called religious movement. Religious movement is sentiment. Generally, religious is taken as a kind of faith, but it is not a kind of faith. I think in South America, that Indian man was asking that it is the Hindu faith.
Oh, in South Africa. He's asking, is this Hindu faith?
So,
this cult or that cult?
He was a Hindu gentleman, belonged to the Arya Samaj. So, 3 times he said, is it Hindu faith? And what do you mean by Hindu faith?
Yeah.
When Krishna said, Dehinasmin jatha dehi kumara jovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti, is it meant for the Hindus that a child becomes a baby becomes a child becomes a boy becomes a young man becomes an old man, and the old man dies, changes his body. Is it meant for the Hindus? The Mohammedans do not become old men or young men.
The Christians don't become old men?
Such fools there are. The Bhagavad Gita is speaking, Tatha Dehantara Prati, Deva Satya Namuyate, it is meant for the Hindus. Such fools there are. And Krishna says, Anna Bhavanti Bhutani. If you have got enough food grains, then all the living entities are satisfied. Is it meant for the Hindus? So this is going on. This is Hindu scripture. What do you mean by Hindu scripture? So they are interpreting in that way. So Krishna is not for the Hindus or the Muslims or Christians. He is God. He is everyone. He is for everyone. And it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Joni Sukhavantiya, Sambhavantim Kayoja. In all species of life, as many forms of life are there. Aham be the I am the seed-giving father of all of them. So where is the question of Hindus? This is going on.
Does it ever happen, Swamiji, that some disciples of yours may disagree with you on spiritual matters?
No. Unless he is a fool. Unless he is a damn fool. If he is sane and sober, open-hearted, then he will agree. Not only Hindu, we have got so many Mohammedans also. So unless one is open-minded, sane, intelligent, you cannot understand. Therefore I say the Indians are becoming insane by the influence of so many rascals. They are becoming insane. That has to be rectified. But insanity is prevailing all over the world, but not so much insanity as in India, that they are rejecting their own things. This is the greatest insanity. Why they are rejecting Bhagavad Gita? What is the reason? Tell me. You?
Because I think because of basic economic instability.
Economic instability.
Economic? Then why don't you accept the economic program given by Bhagavad Gita? Why don't you accept?
Please elaborate on that. I would be very much interested.
It is known to everyone. Krishna says, Annad Bhavanti Bhutani. Anna means food grains, eatables. You must produce sufficient food grains. Why you are producing tire tube instead of food grains? And just entering your Delhi from Vrindavan, a big Goodyear factory, very big factory. You are producing tire tube, then iron, Goodyear and this and that. There is food grain. And both sides, the field is vacant. Nobody is going to. No food grain. Then why you not start? It is your fault. You are producing tire tube and iron instrument. You are neglecting agriculture. Then why you shall not suffer for want of food grain? And you are pleading, Indians are starving. Why shall not starve if they do not follow Bhagavad Gita? They are thinking, by increasing industry, in America, they have got industry, at the same time food grains also. But you are taking to industry without taking care of growing food grains.
No. That I feel that your society, that Hare Krishna Consciousness Society, has a very, very stable economy and that it is self-sufficient in itself. Is that so?
Speak a little louder.
Is the Hare Krishna Society self-sufficient? Does it have a very... He understands that our society has a very stable economy. Is it self-sufficient, our own Hare Krishna Society?
Don't you think that we are self-sufficient? We are feeding at least 10,000 devotees daily. But we have no fixed income.
They don't have any fixed income?
No. None of us have any fixed income. But we are traveling all over the world. New York, London, Calcutta, it is just like going from this quarter to that quarter. Our men are moving like that. Immediately coming, 1 dozen men from Germany, 1 dozen from London, and immediately going. We are paying so much money to the airplanes. And we have got so many centers. So how it is going on? Krishna's grace, we depend on Krishna. Our income, daily collection is not less than 1 lakh of rupees, and we are spending everything.
1 lakh daily.
That is minimum. Sometimes we collect 5 lakhs daily.
What is the way you go about collecting money?
That's outside
that book, sir.
Only books are the only source of your revenue.
This question was raised in the parliament. There is Hare Krishna, people, they are fabulous rich, where they get their money.
Yeah.
And the parliament answer was they get their money by selling literature.
That means the devotees do not contribute.
Not the devotees purchase.
No.
They public, those who are intelligent public, they purchase.
Yes, right. But do the devotees contribute in any way?
Yes, they are contributing their life. We don't get any such life sacrifice in India. These educated boys, rich man's son, they have sacrificed everything for me. And where is India?
Swamiji, do you have certain farms also in America?
Yes, not only one, many.
What else do you have over there besides Gurukul schools and things?
Then we produce our own milk. In New Vrindavan, we are producing your Navabharat Times, you have any of them, Navabharat Times? Is there any representative now? No. Your representative went to New Vrindavan and he published in November 1974, I think.
Yes, 74.
Yeah, they published one big article in our time, and the heading was Adhyatmikta ka Jamuna और दूध दही की नदी बह रही है. Because actually they get the photograph of our deity and actually everything. You can find out November issue of Navavara. In now 1974.
But you've virtually given up India as a dead loss, Swami. You've given up India as a dead loss, isn't it, in the sense that...
Yes, not dead loss. The leaders are dead loss. Misleaders. They have given up their own culture and they are trying to imitate others. They brought the charges that the Americans are CIA. Was it CIA or not? What is it? CIA. The CIA have become Bush now and given up meat eating and dancing with me, and they are no other means. How foolish person. The CIA men have come to me for inquiry. These questions, rascal questions are put. Such unfortunate insanity is prevailing in India. The American CIA, they have come to me.
The following is a radio interview with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on May 25th, 1975, in Fiji.
Why did you choose to go to America and propagate the teachings of Lord Krishna in a Western country?
Because Indian people being subjugated for at least 1,000 years, they have lost their original culture. And being poverty-stricken, they are simply after money, by hook and crook. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that bhogai sajja prasaktana taya apuhita cetasa. Persons who have lost their consciousness on account of being too much attached to material enjoyment, they cannot understand this concept. So I thought that America, they have enjoyed enough of this material happiness, money and women, and they are now becoming disappointed. So they are at least on the platform of renunciation. They don't want any more, like their fathers and grandfathers. Of course, they are not guided, but I prefer to go there to guide them. So, almost 50% of my devotees are collected from these disappointed persons, young men. They are going astray. So they appreciate that I have saved them. Therefore, they are after me, this younger generation. And they are helping me in broadcasting this Krishna consciousness. So I think my attempt was successful.
This Oriental philosophy generally, and in particular the Krishna consciousness, has found a lot of devotees in the Western civilization. What is the main reason for this?
You are thinking this is Oriental civilization, but that is not the fact. The fact is, this is human civilization. There is no question of East and West. Every living being, not only human being, even other beings, there are 8,400,000 forms of life. And Krishna claims that Sarvajonishu Kaunteya Sambhavanti Murtayaja. Tasang mahajjani brahma aham vira pradip. So, Krishna is for the aquatics, the animals in the water, the vast sea, there are so many animals. Then from the water, the trees are coming out. Jalajana Mulakhani, Sabra Lakhavinsati. In this evolutionary process is going on. But all of them, living entities and part and parcel of God, Krishna. So, by the evolutionary process, they come to the human form of life. Now, there is developed consciousness. Now the human being has to decide which way he has to go. Again to the lower species of life or higher forms of life. The higher forms of life are there in the upper planetary system. Their duration of life, material standard of living, very, very comfortable, 1,000 times better than here. So, Krishna says that if you like to go to the higher planetary system, you can go there. It is said, Janti deva brata deva. If you cultivate yourself for going to the higher planetary system, first of all, we have to understand that we are eternal, part and parcel of Krishna. We are simply changing body. This is material condition. Either lower grade of bodies or higher grade of bodies, but we have to change. Tatha dehantara prapti. Just like we are changing our bodies from childhood to babyhood, babyhood to boyhood to youthhood, then old age. Similarly, when this body will be finished, no more usable, then we'll have to accept another body. But the present civilization is so foolish, they do not know, even big professor have taught, that there is life after death. They do not know. Although it is very evident. So they have no such knowledge, even common sense. And that big education is. Anyway, there is no such department which deals with the transmigration of the soul. That is the defect of the modern civilization. So there is transmigration of the soul by evolution, by transmigration of the soul. We have come to this human form of life. Now, here we have to decide, because we are part and parcel of God, a small particle of the same quality. So God is fully independent. We have got also a little independence. So God does not interfere with our independence. Now here we have to decide which way again we shall go. We have come by the evolution, by nature's way. Prakritikyamarani gunai karmani. Nature has brought us and given us a chance whether we shall go to our original spiritual life or we shall remain in this material world by changing body one after another. That is to be decided. Krishna consciousness movement is educating people. Stop your so-called material advancement. You come again back to home, back to God. Therefore our paper's name is Back to God. Don't make any false advancement. You will never be happy. This is our propaganda. It is called Nivitti Marga. Nivitti Marga means stop material way of life. Begin spiritual way of life. And come to Godhead, Krishna, back to home, back to Godhead. Taptadiham punarjananeti. If you cultivate spiritual life, then after giving up this body, we have to give up. This is material. And after giving up this body, we can accept, we can continue our spiritual body, or we can accept again material body. That will require our sense have to cultivate. So if we cultivate spiritual life, some percentage, not that everyone will be able, at least the higher class, higher section of the society, if they cultivate spiritual life and remain ideal, so others may follow. This is our problem.
Coming back to this question of the Western type of civilization, do you feel that this, the success of the movement in the Western society is an indication of the need being felt by the Western man that he has been lacking in spiritual ideologies?
Yes. But the thing is that they are very intelligent, there is no doubt about it. Materially, they are always advanced. Materially, when they are manufacturing machine of the yardstick, in India we are manufacturing sewing machine or cycle. I have seen in the world where the Indians were very proud of manufacturing cycle and sewing machine, whereas the Americans and Europeans, they are saying how subtle machine of this jet plane are there. So, materially, they are advanced. There is no doubt about it. 100 years. But spiritually they are not. Therefore, I am an Indian, poor Indian, they are coming to me. Because they understand that spiritually, not only me, any Swami go, they clout if there is something spiritual. Unfortunately, the other Swamis, they go, they exploit them, they cheat them. They do not, neither they do know what is spiritual life, neither they could give them. For example, for the last 200 years or more than that, the Swamis are going. Not a single person was a Krishna devotee in the history, in those countries. But now we are putting Bhagavad Gita as it is, hundreds and thousands of them.
Swamiji, it's been said sometimes that India has too much philosophy and the West has too much materialism.
Yeah.
Where is the right balance in this modern world?
The balance is that it should be reciprocal exchange. What you haven't got, you give me. What I haven't got, I give you. This should be the process of exchange. Then the world will be united. When there is exchange of gifts, but our India followed the principle for begging. Give me man, give me money, give me wheat, give me rice, give me war materials, simply begging. We must give something. This is the first time we are giving something. Otherwise India was a beggar, simply, to the Western country. For the technical education, they are going to this. When there is war, they are asking America, please give us war materials. And when they give war materials to Pakistan, we become envious. But you are also taking rice, dal, for me. So why should you remain beggar?
Finally, Swamiji, what is the relevance of Krishna consciousness in our modern society? What would be the relevance of Krishna's teaching in life?
Relevance when you are spirit soul. You are not this body. This thing first you have to understand. Aham Brahmasmi. That is India's philosophy, that I am spirit soul. And if you realize Brahmasmi, Brahma Bhumita Prasannatma, Prasutati. As soon as you realize that you are not this material body, you are spirit soul, then immediately you become jolly. Prasannatma. Prasannatma means na sujati, na kahankati. He has no more any hankering for things which he does not possess. No more any lamenting which he has lost. Take for example that we have lost our portion of country as Pakistan and fighting, since this was a plan by the British government that divide them in such a way they will perpetually fight. They will never be happy. This was the plan that has been successful. But we are lamenting. Both Pakistan is lamenting or not, I do not know, but Hindustan is lamenting. Gandhi was against this partition, but Jawaharlal Nehru, just to become Prime Minister, immediately divided. So, these things are going on. So, lamenting, we have lost. But if you take this Krishna consciousness movement very seriously, you can make the whole world Hindustan.
Vandeham Shri Guru.
The following are questions and answers given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 29th of July 1971 in Gainesville, Florida.
Sri Rupam Chakrajatam.
This is being recorded on videotape, so it will be broadcast later. Not right now, but later on. So if I ask you questions which sound sort of ignorant,
yes,
I ask your indulgence.
Thank you.
You are the expert, and I know very, very little about this. Really.
Expert is Krishna. We are actually following Krishna.
Yes, that much I understand. Yes. In fact, Krishna is everything.
Stand by.
No, my book is outside.
Yes, I know. Yes.
Macmillan publishes every year 50,000.
That's the camera I open up to?
You can inquire from your side any reading matter from Bhagavad Gita original. That will be nice. Then I can explain.
All right.
Yeah.
You're going to cue me, right? Lord Krishna is the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead. As confirmed by all the Vedic scriptures and by the great sages in the disciplic succession, he has a body made of eternity, bliss and all knowledge. God has infinite forms and expansions, but of all his forms, his original form, his transcendental form, is as a cowherd boy, a form which he reveals only to his most confidential devotees. So go the teachings of Krishna as laid down in the Vedic literature, and of the sages in the disciplic succession, which I mentioned. One is our guest for this conversation today. He is His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, foremost teacher in the West of the Krishna philosophy, which, moreover, he teaches not only by word, but by example. He came to this country in 1965 on orders of his spiritual master. As a Krishna disciple, he is the present human exponent of a line of succession going back 500 years to the appearance in India of Lord Caitanya, and beyond that to a time 5,000 years ago when Lord Krishna himself was on this planet and his words were recorded. Welcome, sir. What is Krishna consciousness?
Krishna consciousness means that every living being, part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna has got many expansions. That is called personal expansion and separated expansion. So separated expansions we are living entities. But although we are very intimately connected with Krishna, somehow or other we are now separated by contact of material nature. So we have practically forgotten that we are part and parcel of Krishna. Actually that is a fact. And because he's just like a rich man's son, somehow or other he has forgotten his father and is loitering in the street as a poor man. But actually that is not his position. He has forgotten simply. So this Krishna consciousness movement means we are trying to invoke that original consciousness, that he is part and parcel of Krishna. Why he should remain in this material world and suffer the threefold miseries. So we want to revive the original consciousness. The original consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Just like a man born of a Lord's family, his title should be the Lord's family. But unfortunately, forgetting his own home, he is accepting some menial title. So our whole Vedic literature is meant for that purpose, to revive his original consciousness.
You came, sir, to this country in 1965, as I said, on instructions or orders given you by your spiritual master. By the way, who was your spiritual master?
My spiritual master was Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Goswami, Prabhupada.
Now, in this line of succession that we were talking about earlier, this cyclic line of succession, which goes way back, all the way back to Krishna himself, right? Was your spiritual master the previous one before you?
Yes. Yes. The cyclic succession is coming from Krishna since 5,000 years.
Is your spiritual master still alive?
No. He has passed in 1936.
So you are, at this particular time then, sort of the head in the world of this movement? Would that be correct?
I have got many other god brothers, but I was particularly ordered to do this, and from the very beginning. So I am trying to please my spiritual master. That's
Now, you were sent to this country, to the United States of America. This is your territory, is that correct? And
my territory, what he said, that you go and speak this philosophy to the English-speaking public.
To the English-speaking world?
Yes, and especially in the Western world. Yes, he told me that.
When you came, sir, to this country about 15, 16 years ago and started...
No, not 15, 16 years.
5, 6 years ago, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
To this part of the world, you did not come to a part of the world where religion was lacking as such. You know, in the United States of America we have many religions, and I think people in this country like to believe in great majority that they are religious people who believe in God, you know, who devote themselves to some form of religious expression.
Yes.
And I wonder what your thinking was. What do you think that you could add to the already living religious expression in this country by coming here and adding your own philosophy to it?
Yes. When I first came to your country, I was guest of an Indian friend at Butler.
In Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So, although it was a small county, I was very much in Gladden. There were so many churches.
So many churches, yes.
So many churches. And I spoke in many of the churches there. My host arranged for that. So it was not with that purpose that I came here to defeat some religious process. That was not my purpose. Our mission is, Lord Chaitanya's mission is to teach everyone how to love God. That's all.
But in what way, sir, may I ask, in what way did you think and do you think right now that the teaching of the love of God, which you are doing, is different and perhaps better than the teachings of the love of God which already were being conducted in this country and have been conducted in the Western world for centuries?
That is fact. Because we are following the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. He is considered, he is accepted by us according to the authority of Vedic literature. He is personally Krishna.
Which Lord is that?
It's Lord Chaitanya.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Lord Chaitanya.
He is the one who came back 500 years ago?
Yeah, yes.
To India?
India, yes. So, he is Krishna himself and he is teaching how to love Krishna. Therefore, his process is most authorized. Just like you are the expert in this establishment, if somebody is doing something, if you personally teaching, do like this. That is very authorized. So, God consciousness, God himself is teaching. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is God, he is speaking about himself. And at last he says, just surrender unto me, I take charge of it. But people misunderstood. So Lord Chaitanya, Krishna again came as Lord Chaitanya to teach people how to surrender. And because we are following the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya, the method is so sublime that even foreigners who never knew Krishna, they are surrendering. The method is so potent. So that was my purpose. We don't say that this religion is better than this religion or my process is better. We want to see by the result. In Sanskrit there is a word, phalena parichyate. A thing is judged by the result.
A thing is judged by
the result.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
You can say, I can say, my method is very nice. You can say, your method is very nice. But we have to judge by the result. That is, Bhagavad says that process of religion is very good, following which one becomes a lover of God.
Yes, but of course, your religion is not the only one which teaches this particular precept.
That I am explaining. That it is not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
There are maybe many, but it is practically effective.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's say in the part of the world where, if I'm understanding your philosophy and your history correctly, in the part of the world where this particular philosophy and this particular belief originated, which is in India, right, in the eastern part of the world, at least as we look at it.
Yes.
Is it successful there? Do you have a large following over there?
Yes. Recently, I was in India. I held 2 meetings. I continued for 10 days everywhere, and 20 to 30,000 people were attending daily.
Mm-hmm.
That India's position is that they are naturally Krishna conscious. But at the present moment, by the so-called leaders, they want to replace this Krishna consciousness into material consciousness.
Is the Krishna consciousness belief or philosophy compatible with the Hindu religion? Which
not any religion.
Beg your pardon?
Any religion.
Any religion.
Because God is one. It is the science of God. The 2 plus 2 equal to 4. It is understood by everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It is not that it is to be understood by the Christian, not by the Hindus. 2 plus 2 equal to 4 is a fact for everyone. Similarly, God is a fact for everyone. Now, how to love God? This is the only process. native.
Now, do you claim then that your way of loving God is the way to love God?
Yes, at least for this age.
For this age?
Yes.
You mean for Kali Yoga?
Yes.
For the time that we live in right now?
Because the method is authorized. Krishna prescribes this. Krishna himself and Lord Chaitanya, he says that this is the only method for self-realization or for God realization or to learn how to love God. He says, Krishna says, therefore it is authorized. Mm-hmm. And it is practically happening. Otherwise, these boys and girls, they are foreigners, they never knew Krishna. Now, I have got 60 centers, and in each center, there are on the average 100 devotees. And they have dedicated their life. How it is happening, unless it is authorized?
Well, you know, they say they never knew Krishna, and you are, of course, right. But different peoples name their gods in different ways. You name your god Krishna. In the Western world, many people name their God Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. There are other peoples in different parts of the world who have different names for the gods which they pray.
Yes, that's all right. We say in that connection that if you have got a name which is actually referring to God, that will also do. Just like we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Right, yeah.
So, according to Vedic literature, Krishnastu Bhagavan Sam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. This is he has got many names, thousands and millions of names. This is the original name. So, Chaitanya says, not that you have to chant Krishna, but if you have got actually a name for God, you can chant that. We are not asking you that you chant Krishna. If you have got actually a name for God, then you can chant that. We are requesting that you chant God's holy name.
But before, when you came here, now you came here in the middle 60s, less than a decade ago.
Yes.
What was it? This is what I'm trying to find out from you. What was the motivating force behind your coming to the United States?
That is already explained. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted that these propaganda should be made all over the world and they will accept. So my Guru Maharaj said that you go and try to do this. So I came with this purpose. And it is happening.
There must have been an element, though, of dissatisfaction then on your part with the way Godhead was being professed in this part of the world before you came. Otherwise, there would have been no sense in you coming here.
Every part of the world, practically, everyone has very little interest in God. They have more interest in dog.
You are, in general, then trying to increase the interest in God. Is that correct?
Yes. That is the only interest we must have in human life.
And you are not particularly interested in what particular name this God has?
No. Our purpose, mission is that people may become God conscious. And the process is, in this age, by chanting the holy name of God. If you have got any name for God, which is actually name of God, then you will be successful by chanting that.
The chanting of Krishna's name, the Hare Krishna mantra, seems to play a very important role in the profession of your religious belief, right? In fact, I think I will ask you and some of your followers who are sitting here with us tonight, a little bit later, to chant the name of Krishna. That probably would be a proper ending to this particular program. However, I'm still wondering, about some of the aspects. In reading a little bit, and I have not read much, of course, but in reading a little bit about your beliefs and your writings and, your magazine or your publications.
I'm correct here that it is not my belief.
Well, in the belief, as you interpret it in your writings, let me put it that way.
Right.
It seems to me, sir, that there is a very high emphasis placed on the relationship between the individual and God.
Yes.
Much more so than upon
that is for everyone.
Yes, but more emphasis on that relationship than on the relationship between one individual and another individual. Am I right in that?
No. We have to establish, first of all, our lost relationship with God. You see? Then we can understand what is the relationship between one individual to another. If the central point is missing, then there is practically no relation. Just like you are American, another is American, both of you feel American nationally because the center is America. So unless you understand God, you cannot understand what I am. Neither I can understand what you are. So we have to first of all re-establish our lost relationship with God, then we can establish talk of universal brotherhood. Otherwise there will be discrimination. Just like in your country or any country, national means a man born in that land, is it not? But they do not take the animals as national. Why? They have no right to become national. And that is imperfect of knowledge. There is no God consciousness. Therefore, they think only the man born in this land is national, not others.
Yeah, that is not necessarily based on religious principles, of course.
No, that is a philosophical principle.
Right.
And religion without philosophy is sentiment.
Don't you think there are very good reasons for the existence of these rules and regulations in this respect?
Yes, rules and regulations must be established on philosophy. Otherwise it is sentiment, defective. Religion without philosophy is sentiment. And philosophy without religion is mental speculation. They should be combined. Philosophy and religion, then it is perfect.
I think that in this part of the world, in the Western world, at least as much as I'm aware of it, we do place a good deal of emphasis on religion and
based on philosophy.
Well, on religion, what I would like to highlight, what I would like to emphasize, is that we place a good deal of emphasis on religion in the ways it gets one man to deal with another man. The ethic of religion. Now, in the Krishna consciousness movement...
we must clear.
Beg your pardon?
We are not concerned how one man deals with another man.
And as a part of your Krishna consciousness movement?
No, because
this is not important.
No, this is not important, because we know as soon as one understands how to deal with God, he will automatically deal with other man very nicely.
But let's take the Christian religion for an example.
No, I do not.
The Ten Commandments, for example.
Yes.
There is a heavy emphasis in the Ten Commandments on the relationships between one human being and another. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. That sort of thing.
But I say that Jesus Christ never said, he never meant thou shalt not kill means only human being. Where is that evidence? Jesus Christ never said thou shalt not kill means it means only human being. Thou shalt not kill any animal.
Any life.
Any life. That is religion.
It has never been interpreted that way.
But you have interpreted differently. But he says thou shalt not kill. He never says thou shalt not kill amongst human beings. Why do you interpret in that way?
How would I recognize a true follower of the Krishna consciousness movement by his behavior? What would his traits be? What would his outward expressions be?
Yes, his behavior is a perfect gentleman. That's all. You cannot find any fault in him. That is perfect Krishna consciousness. They are prohibited not to eat meat.
Not to eat meat?
No. They are prohibited for illicit sex life. They are prohibited to intoxication. They do not smoke even, or to speak of other intoxication. And they are prohibited not to indulge in gambling. So if they can observe these 4 rules and regulations, they become perfect men. Simple.
Or women, I presume.
Or men or men.
Men or women.
Anyone.
There is place for women in the religion too.
No, woman has got the same right. Just like we are getting married, boys and girls, they follow the same principle. The same principle. So these are the 4 pillars of perfect life. And if we indulge in these things, illicit sex life, meat eating, and intoxication and gambling, then they become 4 pillars of sinful life. And if we take them away, then they become, the private portion becomes the pillars of perfect life.
Now, I would like to ask you one more question, and I would like to ask you to end the program by chanting your mantra of Hare Krishna. One more question, though. In the 6 years that you have been in this country, in the United States, have you been encouraged or discouraged?
Yeah, I'm encouraged.
Encouraged? Why?
Because so many devotees are coming daily.
Well, so many, you say so many. You know, we have maybe, 24 people sitting here, but of course there are,
we have got
205 or 210 million Americans.
But you cannot, when you sell diamond, you cannot expect everyone will purchase. There must be 4 or 5 customers for diamond. You cannot expect diamond is sold among mass of people. You cannot expect that.
Do you in general approve of this society, or do you have major complaints about it? The American society that you now live in?
I have no complaints. These boys and girls, they are very nice. I am rather encouraged that these boys and girls, they are so much inquisitive about Krishna. So it is a best field everywhere. But these boys and girls, I can understand, they're hankering after something nice. They're frustrated. So they have got now the things, so they're coming.
All right. I would like to thank you very sincerely for giving us a very brief insight, in the teachings and in the beliefs of the Krishna consciousness movement. May I ask you to ask your followers who are present here with us tonight to join you in the chanting of the mantra for just a minute to close out the program? Please.
You can chant.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's my time.
The following is a press conference with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on April 18th, 1974, in Hyderabad, India.
Jasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvai gunai tatra samasate sura haravo bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena asato dhavato bhai. Jasya, anyone, asti, anyone who has Bhagavati in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, akinchana bhakti, unallied devotion, faith, sarvai gunai tattva samasati sura. With all the good qualities of the demigods, he is bestowed upon. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna. If one is not a devotee of the Lord, he has no good qualification. He cannot possess any good qualification. Why? Manorathena, he is simply hovering on the mental plane. Therefore, mind's business is to accept and reject. There cannot be any permanent thing. So one has to transcend above the plane of mind and fixed up in the spiritual platform, then he can have all the good qualities. So at the present moment, a godless civilization. Therefore, the leaders, they do not know how to lead people so that they may become happy. It is the duty of the leader, government, father, teacher, gurus to see that the subordinates are very, very happy. We find in the history of Mahabharata that during the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira, people were not suffering even from excessive heat or cold or any anxiety. So it is the duty of the leaders of the people and the government to see that the citizens are perfectly happy in their occupational duties and they are advancing in spiritual knowledge. Because human life is not to live a polished animal life. That is not human life. In the Shastras we see that Rishabdev, the father of Maharaj Bharat, under whose name this planet is called Bharatvarsha, he taught his 100 sons, my dear boys, this human form of life is not meant for working hard like cats and dogs for sense gratification. Ultimate end is sense gratification, satisfying the senses. This is the business of the cats and hogs, or dogs and hogs. The hog is whole day working to find out stool, where is stool, where is stool. And as soon as he gets some stool, little strength, immediately sex life without any discrimination, whether she is mother or sister or daughter. This kind of life is described in the Shastra as hog civilization. So, at the present moment, without any reference to God consciousness, people are being taught to satisfy the senses, work very hard, and ruin the chance of human life. This human life is specially meant for solving all the problems of life. There are so many problems of life, but the 4 problems as indicated in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darsana. People have no knowledge how to stop birth, death, old age and disease, because every living entity is eternal. That we learn from Bhagavad Gita. Na harnate hannamane sarire. The living entity does not die even after the annihilation of this gross body. This is the first knowledge to understand. Dehinasmin yatha dehe kaumana jovanang jara tatha dvihantara prapti. We have to transmigrate from this body to another body, as I have transmigrated already from my childhood body to boyhood body to youthhood body. Now I am in a body very old. So similarly, as I am existing in spite of changing so many types of bodies, similarly, after changing this body, I will have to accept another body. This is the fact. But the modern education, they do not know it. Neither they believe. Even the practical example is there. And who is giving the example? The most authoritative personality of God is Krishna. Tatha dehantara prapti. And there are so many different varieties of bodies. Jalaya navalakkani sthavara lakkaminshati kimaya rudra sankaka pakshinam dasalakkakam. There are 9 lakhs varieties of life in the water. Similarly, 20 lakhs varieties of life in the trees and plants. Then there are insects, then there are birds, then there are animals, then there is human being. So this human form of body is obtained after evolution and many millions and trillions of years. It should not be. This is a chance for stopping this business of repetition of birth and death. But people, they have no knowledge how to stop it. Although everything is there. In the Bhagavad Gita, everything is explained. But we are not utilizing. We are manufacturing our own concocted knowledge. Therefore you are suffering. If you read Bhagavad Gita as it is, then all the solution of human society's problem are there. Economic, social, political, religious, cultural, philosophical, everything is there. So, this Krishna consciousness movement is meant for spreading the knowledge contained in the Bhagavad Gita as it is, without any malinterpretation. Bhagavad Gita as it is. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Parabrahma param dhama pavitram paramam bhava. After understanding Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, Arjuna affirmed, Krishna, you are Parabrahma, the Supreme Personality of God. Brahma, every living entity is Brahma, or everything is Brahma. Sarvam khalidam Brahma. That is a fact. But Parabrahma is Krishna, the Supreme. Nitya nityanam chetanas chetananam. That is the Vedic version. He is the Supreme. So unless we accept Krishna, the Supreme, what is the use of reading Bhagavad Gita? So that we have to accept. And his instruction, as they are given, everything. Just like economic solution, there is in the Bhagavad Gita, Annar bhavanti bhutani. There is need of anna to feed the animals and the human being. Simply by passing resolution, conference, it will not do. You must produce anna so that animals and men, they may be fed sumptuously. They will get strength, then they can work for Jagga. Jagga karma samudbhavam. In this way, people can be happy. So, everything solution is there in the Bhagavad Gita, and you are trying to spread this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita all over the world, and people are accepting. Now we have started in America a political party. In God we trust. So they are doing very successfully. People are accepting. They are criticizing the so-called leaders. After Nixon, people are disgusted with the so-called leaders. So we are teaching them what kind of leaders should be selected. The king, the public leader, the Brahmana, and at least these three men, they should be free from the four kinds of sinful activities. If they are personally sinful, how they can lead other people? That is not possible. Andhajathandhi rupaniyamana. If a man is himself blind man, how he can lead other blind men? That is not, it is dangerous for both of them. So, the leaders, the politicians, the king, the Brahmana, they should be very much pure, without any sinful tinge of life. And the pillars of sinful life is illicit sex life and meat eating and intoxication and gambling. Now unfortunately the leaders are teaching people how to enjoy illicit sex life, meat eating and intoxication. Then how the society can be happy? It is not possible. If you become criminal, or if you infect some disease, you must suffer. Similarly, in the material world, there are three gunas, Satagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. So, if you associate with Satagun, then you become enlightened. If you associate with Rajagun, then you are, I mean to say, pushed through passion. And if you are in ignorance, then you do not know what is right and wrong. Kamalubhadayastad. The symptoms of Rajagun and Tamagun is excessive lust and greediness. In Satogun, they are in knowledge. Therefore, the society must be divided into 4 classes of men, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvarnang maya sustam gunakarma vibhagas. There are 3 gunas, and the Satogun, Brahmana, a class of ideal men must be there in the society, so that people can follow them. Jad jad acharati sreshtha, lokastad anuvartate. If there is no ideal man in the society, how they can be of good character? Therefore, a Brahminical class of men, I mean to say, in quality, sattva, sama, dhamma, titikha, arjava, jnanam, vijnanam, astikam, brahma karma, sabhavali. There must be an ideal class of men, Brahmana. The next class, Kshatriyas, who can give protection to the society. They should come forward. Whenever there is danger, they will come forward to give protection to the society. Similarly, next, the Vaishya. They must produce Krishi Goraksha Vanijam Vaishya Karma Sabhava. The class of men should be interested, produce food grains and give protection to the cow. So where are these things? How can expect good society, good management? If you want good society, good management, people happy in this life and next, then you have to adopt the principles given by Sri Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita, and we are preaching the cult of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. That is Krishna consciousness movement. Thank you very much.
Now we open the basement to the questions.
Yes, upon this, what I have already stated, you can... Well, first of all, try to understand what is written in the Bhagavad Gita, then you try to understand the philosophy. It is simple thing. Krishna says that Annad Bhavanti Purjanna. So there is no need of Dvaita philosophy or Advaita philosophy. You require Anna to maintain the animals and the man, practically. Dvaita philosophy and Advaita philosophy, this is controversial. But even though we agree to Dvaita philosophy or Advaita philosophy, the question of food grain will be required. Either you become Dvaita philosophy or Advaita philosophy. We are speaking from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. What Shankaracharya says, what Ramanujacharya says, that we shall consider there. You try to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita that Dehi nasmin jatha dehe kumara yovanam jara tatha dehantara prat. So, Dehina means the possessor of the body, the owner of the body. That is the soul. So, that you cannot deny. Either you follow Shankaracharya or Ramanujacharya. There is soul within the body. This is Bhagavad Gita says. Dehina, asmin dehi. As it, just like I was a child, I remember, you remember also. So, that body is now gone. But I've got a different body, you have got a different body. But I am existing. So I am Dehina, Dehi, and my body is Deha. So Deha, Dehi, there must be distinction. The body is not the owner, I am the owner. Just like I am sitting within this room. I am not this room. Similarly, I am sitting within this body. You are sitting within your body. So you are not body. This is called illusion.
What is the ultimate aim of this Krishna consciousness?
Yes, ultimate aim is that I would say ultimate aim is that there is spirit and matter. As there is material world, there is spiritual world also. Parastasmat bhavanya bhaktya bhaktya sanatana. The spiritual world is eternal. The material world is temporary. We are spirit soul. We are eternal. Therefore our business is to go back to the spiritual world. Not that we remain in the material world and change body from bad to worse or worse to bad, good. That is not our business. That is a disease. Our healthy life is to enjoy eternal life. Jadgatyana nivartante tadhamam paramam mama. See, our human life should be utilized for attaining that perfectional state, not to get any more this material body which we have to change. This is the aim of that.
Is there perfection possible in one life?
Yes, in one moment. If you agree, Krishna says that sarva dharman parittajya mamekam saranam angva sarva pape bhama khusha. We change our body on account of sinful activities. But if we surrender to Krishna and take to Krishna consciousness, immediately you are on the spiritual platform. Manchabhya vicharini bhakti yogi na jasevate sagunan samatitta itan brahma bhuvaya kalpate. As soon as you become an unalloyed devotee of Krishna, you immediately transcend this material platform. Brahma bhuvaya kalpate. You remain in the spiritual platform. And if you die in the spiritual platform, then you go to the spiritual world.
He said the bhajan will be a sort of concentration.
Yes, bhajan is concentration, reading is concentration.
Now, besides that, any other type of concentration?
What do you mean by concentration? So yes, when you think, dhyanavastita tadgatena manusa, pasyanti jan yogina. The yogis, in dhyana and meditation, they always see the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, within the heart. That is meditation. Dhyanavastita tadgatena manusa pasyanti jan yogina. The jnanis, they see by cultivation of knowledge, and the bhaktas, they see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, is understood from different angles of vision. Brahmayati, Paramatmati, Bhagavaniti Sabdat. Vadanti tat tattavidas tatyam. That is absolute truth. Jad jnanam advayam. There is no difference between Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. The same thing in different angle of vision. The jnanis, they realize as impersonal Brahma. The yogis, they realize as Paramatma, situated in everyone's heart. And the bhaktas, they realize as the Supreme Personality of God. But the thing is the same. It is the different angle of vision.
What exactly is Guru's role in the system?
To teach how to get rid of this disease of birth, death and old age. That is Guru's business. That is also father's business, that is also Guru's business, or the caretaker's business, the government's business, because this human life is meant for getting out of these clutches of Maya, constantly, repeatedly, changing body, tatha dehantaram prapta, bhutta bhutta praliyat. This business should be stopped. Namo chayadja samupeta mrityum guru nasasya. Shastra says one should not be guru if he cannot deliver the disciple from the chain of birth, death, old age and disease. But the Americans and the Europeans, they are fed up with this material type of civilization. They know that a spiritual life is there in India. They understand that. Therefore, any Swami goes there, they go around him to take some spiritual instruction. Unfortunately, mostly they go who have no knowledge. They cannot give them right knowledge. So for the time being, they may surround them, but after some time they disperse because they do not get actually. But so far Krishna consciousness movement, now many Swamis went there and they preached Bhagavad Gita also, but not a single person became a devotee of Krishna for the last hundreds of years. But now Bhagavad Gita is being presented as it is, and people are taking it by hundreds, thousands. So they are after some knowledge, spiritual knowledge from India. But our so-called Swamis, they go, they do not give actual information of the Indian spiritual culture. Therefore, they are practically deceived. But this Bhagavad Gita as it is, we do not change anything. In the Bhagavad Gita we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Matta parataram nanya kinchijasti dhananjaya. So we are teaching that here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So they are accepted. Krishna says, manmana bhavamad bhaktam adhyajimam namaskuru. So we are teaching that just always think of Krishna, chant Hare Krishna mantra, and you'll remember Krishna. Manmana bhavamad bhakta. And just become devotee, worship the deity of Krishna, become his bhakta. Manmana bhavamad bhakta madhyaji, worship Lord Krishna. Mag namaskuru, offer your obeisances to Krishna. So we are teaching this archan. We have got 100 temples like this all over the world. And hundreds and thousands are joining. So this is practical. So they are accepting. Now it is our duty to give the actual Vedic culture, which is concise, summarized in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarva Upanishad Gava, the essence of all Upanishad teaching. So there is very good demand for this culture. But unfortunately, we give some lavish things and they come. Sometimes they go, that he becomes himself God. What is this nonsense? God is so cheap. So they have been frustrated and our people go and still more frustrate them by giving some cheating type of. But here, Bhagavad Gita is very simple. There is no need of great education. What is the difficulty to understand? If Krishna says, manmana bhavamad bhakta madhyajimang namaskuru, where is the difficulty? You always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer my obeisances. Chaturvarnam Maya system, you divide the society in 4 classes of men. Annad bhavanti bhutani, you just produce sufficient food grains and eat sufficiently, be strong, perform jagga. Where is the difficulty to understand Bhagavad Gita?
You think the Russian society is not freedom body? Russian society is not freedom body.
Russian?
Society.
I do not know Russian society, but I can say I have been in Moscow. The people are not happy. That I can say.
How many of your disciples who have seen the vision of God in the sense have seen the Lord's image in their heart?
What is it mean?
How many of your disciples would have seen the vision of God? Vision of God.
And the vision of God we can see also. Here is vision of God.
Have seen Lord in their own heart.
No, that is of course.
later on. First of all, see, here is God, vision of God. Everyone can see, it is public. Why you ask my disciples? You can see also. No, that's type vision of God. Here is Krishna. And that's all. Physical meaning vision. Your vision is also physical. Your physical, not spiritual. Whatever you see with your eyes, that is physical. That is not anything beyond physical. And spiritual eyes, that's all right. But first of all, you have to see whatever eyes you have got. You have got physical eyes. Why you are talking of spiritual eyes? That will learn. That is stated in the Shastra. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. When you develop love for God, then you can have that spiritual eyes. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva. He sees everywhere, always. Santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. That you have to develop, that position. Immediately you cannot do that. Yes, immediately you have to see physically. Then gradually, when by offering service you develop your dormant love for God, then you can see spiritually. It is not immediately or for everyone. So you have to wait for that position.
Converts to consciousness movement in the West. Like you said, the Western people are fed up with materialism. Isn't that they are fed up only with materialism or with Christianity as a practice? And two, you also said
people have become godless everywhere. It doesn't matter whether he is a Christian or Mohammedan or Hindu. That is a dental disease. So actually, everyone is concerned now with material comforts. But these material comforts mean wine and woman, that's all. Substance of material comforts. So that they have enjoyed enough. The facility of enjoying woman and getting money, there is no limit. There is no limit. Anyone, the money is thrown in the street, you can simply collect. And similarly, women are available. So, actually, they do not get any happiness by this material element. They are seeking after something, that's the fact. Yes, it is spreading. We have got branch in Iran. Yes. We have got in Moscow. We have got in China. But they are taking gradually. Everything will take time. But we have got many Mohammedan students. Yes. Well, I think about 2 years. Yes, we have got African students also, many African students. And everywhere we are spreading this Hare Krishna. You go to village, they accept. In African village, with big earrings, they also dance in Hare Krishna. Yes, China also, they also receive very nicely. They are intelligent. Everywhere, the people are always good. They are made bad by the leaders, that's all.
In your speech, you remarked about the leaders and the government. You said it's the duty of the leaders and the government to see the people are happy.
Yes.
In this context, how do you see the government of India?
Well, I do not wish to speak of any particular government, but generally, everywhere, the government is not very good. And even in America, the president is not like. Yes. Because you did not lead them, you did not teach them spiritual books. You allowed them to read communist books. What is a spiritual leader? First of all, we have to think. If a businessman is not a spiritual leader.
So you mean the last of spiritual leadership has given
Yes, because there have been so many, just like Bhagavad Gita, it is standard book. The so-called spiritual leaders, they give different interpretation. Why different interpretation? One interpretation is there. Everyone can understand. Manmana bhavamat bhakta madhyajimang namaskuru. It is plain thing. Krishna says that you always think of me. Manmana bhavamat bhakta, you become my devotee. You just worship me, offer me yourself. And Dr. Radha Krishna says it is not to Krishna person. What right he has got to say like that? Krishna says, Manmana bhavamat. Dr. Radha Krishna says it is not to Krishna. This is going on. You see? Now, he is a scholar, he is a philosopher. Even Gandhi says that there was no Krishna, it is all mythology. Then, how people will learn it? If Krishna becomes mythology, the Bhagavad Gita becomes imagination and anyone can interpret in any way, then where is the teaching? Now, first of all, try to understand that what is the defect. The defect is that malinterpretation, bad interpretation. Interpretation is required when a thing you cannot understand. But if you think is clearly understood, why you interpret to mislead the leader? That is our protest. Yet it is clearly understood. Krishna says, Manmana bhavamat bhakta madhyajimang namaskuru. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam saranam. You know, what right you have got to say that it is not to Krishna, it is something else. That has misled our country. Do you admit or not? This misinterpretation, why should you misinterpret in the Bhagavad Gita? If you have got a different philosophy, you can write in your own books. But why through Bhagavad Gita? This is very dangerous. This is very, very dangerous. It has spoiled the whole country. You write your own philosophy. But why you take advantage of Bhagavad Gita and misinterpret it and mislead the people? That is my protest. Hyderabad? Either project, and that he knows, Mahans.
What is your program now in India? Your program now in India? How long is the staying and which are the other places you are going?
I am going to see Balaji, that's all. Balaji.
And then go back to the States?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll go to Europe. And I'll go to London, then to Paris, then Germany, then Sweden, and Switzerland. I have got temples there. In Germany you have got 4 temples. And in Sweden you have got, in Switzerland you have got, France you have got, in England you have got 4, 5 temples. No, they receive it very nicely. They understand that Swamiji is doing something nice. Thank you very much.
The following is a press conference with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on August 17th, 1976, in Hyderabad, India.
The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the first beginning of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, you have to go. You have to take it. No children. Otherwise it will be disturbed. When Arjuna accepted Krishna as the spiritual master, Shishasyaham sadhimang prapannam,
First of all, he was talking like friends. When he saw the friendly talking, will not help us. So Arjuna accepted Krishna as a spiritual master. Then, as spiritual master, he said, Asatyan anusuta sang pragnavadangsha bhas. My dear Arjuna, you are lamenting on the subject matter which is not the subject matter of lamentation. And you are talking like a very learned man. Agatasun, so nanusutan pandit. This body, either alive or dead, it is not a serious subject matter of study. Neither a learned man laments over it. This is the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita or spiritual knowledge. Those who are not human beings, according to Vedic Shastra, anyone who has no self-realization is animal. Jashyatma buddhi kunape tidhatase. If one is identifying with this body, I am this body, which is made of three elements, copper, pitta, vayu. Jashyatma buddhi kunape tidhatase. Tidhatase, this combination of three. Saeva gokhar is animal. So, practically, now, in this age especially, everyone is identifying with this body. That is the basic principle of nationalism, communism, or thisism, or thatism, the bodily conception of life. And according to Vedic version, anyone who is identifying with this body is animal. So, under the circumstances, Hare Krishna, we are trying to revive the spiritual education of the human society. That is Krishna consciousness movement. What is spirit, soul? What is his identification? What is God? What is our relationship with Him? How to work on that plan? Then we become happy. Otherwise, we may make various plans on material basis. It will never be successful, and there is no question of happiness. Because the basic principle is lost. Apustatam atmatattvam grihesu griyamedina. This was spoken by Srila Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit, that Sutavyadini Rajendra Vinang Santi Sahasra. The subject matter of hearing, there are many thousands. For persons who has no self-realization. Sutavyadini Rajendra Vinang Santi Sahasra Apustatam atmatattvam grihesu griyamedina. Those who are not searching after self-realization, they have got many subject matter for hearing and dealing with. That means material subject matter. We have in the newspaper different subject matters for different public interest. But those who are searching after spiritual realization Athata Brahma Jigyasa, as it is stated in the Vedanta Sutra, also in Srimad Bhagavatam also, Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa. Human life means Tattva Jigyasa, about inquiry about the absolute truth. But that is now stopped. People are not interested. Self-realization, Tattva Jigyasa. So this is an attempt to revive their spiritual consciousness, and it is authorized on the basis of Bhagavad Gita as it is, without misinterpretation, and people are taking to it. So it is India's culture, and if we distribute this knowledge systematically, there are departments, cultural departments. So the things are there. If we cooperate, government and the public, then we can give to the whole world something which is very satisfying. And there is no difficulty. The things are there. Bhagavad Gita, you see. And this is our message. Now, if you have got any questions.
Written from that, do you feel your mind has gained ground in India again? And the written from that, do you think your movement in India has gained ground or created consciousness?
No, I am not interested in any particular country. This is meant for the whole human society. As you think India or America, we do not think like that. We take the opportunity wherever it is possible to introduce more and more, we take that opportunity.
What is the response in India?
Indian response we have seen, any held meeting in Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, thousands and thousands of people come here to hear about Bhagavad Gita. Inherently, they are inclined that there is no systematic education. That is difficult. Now the Janmashtami day is coming. I think every Indian will observe Krishna Janmashtami without any faith. But we are not being educated systematically about Krishna. They know Krishna. They are inclined to Krishna. The education of Krishna is there, but nobody is interested to give them properly systematically. That is it.
How is the response in the West?
Of course, it is a foreign thing for them, but still they are coming and taking it very seriously.
Do you think they are taking to it because it's novel?
No, there are many novel things go from here, but they are sticking to it. They are now seriously taking to it. They understand that this is a great time. And we are publishing books. We have already published 84 books like that. 84. 400 pages. And we will be surprised that throughout the whole world we are selling books about $60,000 a day. That means 6 lakh everything. That is the basic income for our expenditure, 102 centers all over the world.
The central minister in the parliament recently said
Right.
that he will conduct a probe to see if there was anything missing.
That's why I'm bringing it for you. Before probably you try to understand what is our income. We are selling this book 6 lakhs rupees daily. And you are spending it. 50% for reprinting the book and 50% for expanding temples all over the world. This is our activity. Now we probe it or understand it.
Is this the only source of revenue for the society?
Yes.
Some for temples, 50%?
50% for expanding temples and 50% for reprinting books.
So do you have any other things like donations or something like that for your movement?
Very small.
Very small.
Mostly we have got a few cases of donation of land and house. Not very large sum of money, never.
But I thought Henry Ford has given something. I thought the Ford family is giving some big donation.
He has given us 2-3 houses. Not donation, but we have purchased 2-3 houses by the money of Mr. Ford, Alfred Ford, 695.
Some members, the parliament says that the movement is indulging in some anti-Indian activities. What could be irritating?
So you are intelligent man, you see what is that anti-Indian? You are spreading